All right, you're asking for it, so here it is. Listen to this.
I want you folks laughing at we partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, swinging, all that shit, dog. Get sweating, getting wet, all that.
All right, welcome to episode number 259, possibly episode number 259. But we've done more episodes y'all ain't even ever heard. But we're gonna say this is episode 259 of the Drinking Partners podcast here at Emerald City. We back down in Emerald City downtown, 213 Smithfield Street. Black-owned co-working space, just straight vibes. Well, you want to come down, network, chill, all of that, man. Emerald City is the spot. And they now have a new podcasting room, too. So if you got your production needs, come on down. You want to start something up, you on the internet, you got a bunch to say, bring your ass down here and record professionally in a place where you can record, network, and just have a nice time, all right? So we're down here at Emerald City. I'm half of your hosting tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us at Emerald City. I mean, what is that, 213?
213 Smithfield Street.
Yeah, I mean, you can also find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play.
We Googleable.
And Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. Man,
don't say the number.
So many episodes, man. So many years. So many years we've been asking y'all.
We about to start doing it by years.
Right, years we've been asking y'all, man. We will continue to ask you. Please hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, rate and review. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well. And that's how we continue to do well. So please hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, rate and review.
Listen, you love us. For years, you've been telling us you love us. We're common law married to you all at this point. We're in Pennsylvania. We're common law married to y'all, so we can talk. Let's communicate. Let us know what you want to see, what you want to hear from us, man. You see, we always leveling up. We always, make it a change. So let us know. And if that ain't how if that's not your love language, in lieu of rates and reviews, we still accept shots of Hennessy. All right. Shout out to Car Guy DJ and the Conways. I don't even know if he Car Guy DJ anymore. He's like a new dude with a new life. He married. He got kids.
He's Carlton Guy DJ now.
He's Mr. DJ. Elder DJ. Shout out to them for starting today. Also, we booze you a little bit. We drinking our pinkies out, so we will accept shots of Glenlivet. All right. And if you're looking for us, you've been looking for us. We are back. We are live. We are doing live events. Namely, we got season 2 of Ed and Day in the Burgh out now. If you listen, it'll be out now. You know what I'm saying? Season 2. And what's even crazier, bigger and better, right? But we're doing every week. We're doing a premiere or release, an episode release party at a spot in that neighborhood. All right, so keep up with it. barrelandflow.com/events. Keep up with that. And, find us. Come see us. Come enjoy the show. Let us know if you got a neighborhood like y'all missed this neighborhood, or if you do go to this neighborhood, you should go to this spot. We're men of the people, and we like to know, man, where do you enjoy? And we trying to big up the city. So if you got a spot where folks who are coming in or folks who live here and they don't really see it that much would enjoy, let us know, man. And as always, annual. It's about half the time we be doing a podcast at this point. right. So it's just
some around there, that barrel and flow.
August 12th, you know what I mean? Just let go.
August 12th. Down at the Strip District. The Stacks at 3 Crossings, man. Over 100 breweries will be represented here at this festival, 30 plus of which will be black owned. We will have 45 plus collaboration brews. Featuring black artists, entrepreneurs, politicians. We got a mayor on board this year. We got a mayor on board this year for the collabs, shout out to the Comans, doing the thing. And
that's overdue too.
Yeah, right.
That's overdue.
So, if you're looking to get into the industry, check out the conferencing on Friday. If you want to pop a couple of bottles in your basement, there's a bottle share Friday evening. And then there's the fest 12 to 9 on Saturday. And then, you want to network, trade a couple of cars before you leave. We got that brunch on Saturday. It's a whole weekend of events at the new hotel hosting us, Marriott City Center, down at across from the console, or I've been told it's PPG Paints now. It's
I think they play hockey there, and at some point this podcast will get into hockey.
Yeah, whatever's blocking the Hill District from the rest of everything else. That building down there. We across from there, and looking forward to hosting y'all August 12th down at the Stacks. Yes.
Hey, man, listen, you know how I feel. Vibes are plenty, right? The vibes will always be there, but now it's a learning opportunity. It's an opportunity to network. It's a weekend of fun. You know, I got a bus from Cleveland coming through. I got a bus from Cleveland. They turned it into an entire weekend, you know what I mean? Because that's what it is. It's the blackest event you'll see in this city, all right?
Ooh, yeah, it is. And that's not an exaggeration, man. It is unapologetically black. It's not a BIPOC fest. It's not a minority fest. It's not a, diverse. It's a black festival.
It's a festival, and that's a celebration of the people, and we some of the people. We're a good portion of the people, so it all makes sense. And we talking about good people. We're talking about brewers. We're talking about representation, right? We're happy to have our guest today because our guest coming with a can with his face on it. You got a can with his and Dave's face on it. All right, so all you guests moving forward, you got to step your presentation game up. Your photos ain't gonna be right after this episode. You got a can, so you gonna have pictures of himself and pictures of himself on beer cans. We got DaShawn Boring. I didn't say that. That's what he said his last name actually was. System brewer at Alter Genius. Say what up to the people.
What up, people?
Okay, all right.
Nice.
All right. We breaking this podcast, Jerry. So that was You come with the swag. You got to come with the swag and the voice, man.
Yeah.
You got a can with your face on it.
I know. That's really baller there, I mean.
Yeah, it's when I started brewing a couple years ago, and even when when you and I kind of got introduced, never thought we would be sitting here putting a face on a can, but it's fun.
There's never a time in my life where I was like, yeah, my face is gonna be on a can. That's just not a thing that people just
Kinda
assume will
that.
happen. Like,
No,
I
don't believe that.
Yeah, even when you explain it too, like, well, you have a face on a can. I'm like, yeah, it's a face on a can. You should have seen when I drew it though. I don't think I sent you the.
So you did the art.
Well, I drew the first pass, and it looked like a third grader did it. Okay. And then, my wife cleaned it up, and then we sent it to the other brewer, Donnie. He cleaned it up, and that's what it looks like now.
So it went through multiple hands. So this ain't even what you drew. This not even.
No, you don't want to. You want to see what I drew.
the telephone version.
Yeah, you don't want to see what I drew.
He drew the Sony PlayStation version. This is Xbox One.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing.
So for the people who aren't industry, I guess, educated, what is a system brewer?
No, it's assistant.
Assistant.
Yeah. So no, basically, we have 4 brewers, Mike and Donnie. They're the head brewers, head owners. And then a couple years ago, decided to come in and ask for some help. I wanted to start home brewing, and they were like, no, we'll teach you. And so it was kind of like a little apprenticeship for a minute.
Okay.
And then it turned into a full blown, assistant brewing.
So
position.
you never even went through the home brew phase.
No.
You jumped right into production that other people will be drinking.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I'd be nervous as hell.
Dude, it's nerve wracking, especially when we did our my first recipe. I was nervous as hell. Nervous as hell. The Notorious was the first one. When did we do this one?
The 3-day weekend. So the beer that we're talking about with the face, that's 3-day weekend. It's DaShawn, Daelyn, and Day. They, I don't know how I would get a beer with an ED. It wouldn't work.
Well, I mean, it is altered with the ED here, genius. So, I mean, that just already lends itself.
I'm on the can.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm on the can.
Already.
That works. Yeah.
Just capitalize that ED and altered, and I'm on
we'll
the
just
can.
add it. We'll just add it. It's fine.
Right? But how long ago did you start brewing? How long ago was this?
It was probably during COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's when Altered opened up right before COVID. And then they were kind of just doing cans and growlers because we couldn't do anything else. So I came down. My wife was bartending there, and so I was always there. And like I said, I wanted to start homebrewing in the basement or in my garage. And I went back to ask them if I can just buy their stuff because they were homebrewing forever. And they were like, no, you just come here and brew with us, and we'll teach you. So I've been fortunate enough that I kind of skipped the homebrewing scene and just went directly into production. And it's a challenge, not having that background. But I've learned so much in the past 2 years. We released 3 beers now. 3-day is the last one that we did. The barrel and flow collab that we did last year, ice cream therapy. That was a good one. That was a good one.
What was that? Who was that with?
It was with the ice cream shop across the street. In the black-owned ice cream shop. I think he was a teacher. also. But real cool dude. His name is JD. He always love, every time he sees you. Real cool dude. And they make the bombest ice cream.
Yeah, the ice cream is
got
dope
beer
as
in it.
hell.
Yeah.
I mean, and they like give you these crazy tall, like the small is like 3 cones.
Well, they have to like take it around the door. Like they can't take it underneath the window because they pile it up so high.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
it's like the old school cartoonish, like
Yeah.
it's cartoonishly like the small is like a grown like you and your girl splitting that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? The
I
small.
ain't a sharing type of dude. Ice cream ain't really shareable. I could love you, but I don't want to share.
that's
You're
pushing
not
it.
just gonna be licking my food.
I mean, I love my wife.
I love my wife, you know what I mean? But you're not gonna lick my food. Like it's bad enough to see you dip that fry that second time. You know what I mean? You gonna lick my food? Now I gotta
We got some
lick after
spoons.
you?
Yeah,
Nah. I know much of your hygiene routine, but I leave the house before her. I don't know what she really be doing. Oh, fish. So you jump in. So what's your beer journey? So you're down at Alter Genius a lot. This is pre getting on as an assistant brewer, but like, were you always drinking craft before then? What's Ambridge like? Because I know Beaver is a dry town. What's Ambridge like with the alcohol industry? And then what's your journey into like? All right, I'm really into craft beer.
Yeah, I mean, not much in Beaver County. There's some popping up. Couple breweries on the block. Another brewery just opened up in Monaca. So it's starting to be a bigger scene. But we have just a lot of bars in Beaver County. A lot of bars in Beaver County. And I honestly like starting off. I didn't like beer for the longest time. During college and after college, didn't really care for it. But body doesn't really respond well to liquor after so long. So started doing craft beer. I think my first craft beer was either a Dragon's Milk. And I mean that's still up. That's up there.
You just
That's
you don't
up there.
go basic ever.
No. No.
You don't jump into Dragon's Milk.
Yeah, funny story. The first time I actually had Dragon's Milk, it was.
You ain't gonna have a Pilsner or nothing. You just gonna go Dragon's Milk.
It was before me and my wife were dating, and we went to a bar, and I took her out, and was just pounding back Dragon's Milk. Didn't know they were $10, $11, $12 a bottle.
Shit.
And I was broke. So
Yeah,
that was a tough one. That was a tough one. But yeah, I mean, I think Dragon's Milk was probably the first.
But I mean, you was probably also fairly more hammered given the ABV of it.
Yeah,
So
it
I'm
saying,
was.
it is. Yeah. Dragon's Milk it's rough.
It's $1 ABV. So it's 10, 12%, $10, $12.
Yeah.
Right. First date, she hitting you off with the Dragon's Milk.
Yeah.
So your wife seems to be. So is she kind of your introduction in the craft? Like, was she drinking craft? Like,
No. She actually. It wasn't until she started at Altered and she kind of got into craft beer, and. We just started touring different breweries and really started getting into it. And Altered really opened the door because that's when I got full interested in it and started learning, what goes into brewing. Because I have no idea, right? Especially because I didn't have the home brewing experience. So I was just kind of wing it in my garage and hope for the best, just try to self-learn off of YouTube and what I could pick up from the different breweries that we were touring with. And she was kind of fundamental in that because she pushed me to do it, right? But now, shout out to her. She'll be, she's on her, sober journey, and she'll be, I think, a year here in May. But she, it's funny. She'll plan all these brewery tours, and we just go.
She sounds excellent. Like
Yeah,
and she's vegan, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah, she
y'all told me
toys
about
with it,
a carrot hot dog or something like that.
That's not-
Was
it's
that
not
y'all
a
telling
hot
me about the
dog.
carrot
It's
hot
not.
dog?
it's like a fucking hot dog. I swear,
it's not.
I know. I know.
But you just presented it. You represented it as a hot dog, but it's not. It's carrots.
It tastes like a hot dog.
I'm not putting carrots between bread by itself.
Listen.
Throw some carrots in between. You folks, you people with these dietary restrictions. What's their community called?
Right.
What's that? What's the vegetarians, vegans? You people. Yeah, that's what we really need the alphabet boys for.
Yeah, but it's funny.
You folks.
It's like she goes through her stages with the vegan stuff, but then she'll she cooks her ass off too. I mean, you
have to when there's no meat involved.
No,
but it's funny,
get fancy.
Yeah,
like,
like I'll try the vegan stuff, but then she'll make 2 dinners. Like she'll make a vegan dinner, and then she'll make like my big ass steak that I want. For that
this sounds like the perfect woman. She gonna make 2 dinners so she can have her shit, but she know what really need to be cooked, and she'll get you into a hobby that you could enjoy and then leave.
Yeah,
right. Just exit the hobby. But I'll still support it. But I'm no longer involved.
Built-in DD.
It's nice. It's nice. But she, I mean, it's cool. Like I can talk to her about stuff. And if I have a beer idea, it's nice. I'm like, what do you think about this? And she'll tell me like, no, that's a bad idea. Or she'll think like, I really think that. But she also has good ideas too. So, she's fundamental in kind of the beer journey. But she actually was the one that kind of bumped me up enough to go talk to Mike and Donnie about buying their stuff and getting into it, because I was nervous. I was like, I'm not going to talk to these guys. Like, I'm just a guy that's drunk here all the time. And they were like, no, we'll teach you. And they've been awesome. From day one, and helping me on the journey, and taking me out to all the beer events that we do, and letting me run with some of the brews that we do. Even the barrel and flow stuff, right? They let me do all of that. And it's awesome, because they trust me enough to do it, right? But just the opportunity is huge, and I love it.
Did they have that position prior to you approaching?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no. It was just something that, I think those two, anybody can come to the brewery and they'll take you back and show you, right? That's just how they are. They're just very welcoming.
Yeah, brewers.
Was Mike a teacher?
They're both teachers.
Both teachers. Yeah. So that's where that altered genius comes in.
Yeah.
It's alt ed.
Yeah, they're alt ed teachers.
That, you know.
And it's another blessing, right? That I get trained by 2 teachers.
Right.
So I definitely have, a little bit of a up when it comes to learning this brew thing, because, our beers are pretty good. They do give me homework. They do.
What is
it's
beer
funny.
homework?
It's funny. Anytime we have to build a recipe, Mike will send me like, what do you think of this recipe? And then I obviously don't know, half the things that he's sending me, so I have to research, what a different hop is, a strain, what the strain for this grain is going to do, et cetera. So there's a lot of it that I do kind of have to learn on the fly, because what Mike and Donnie do, they'll kind of just hand out crumbs, and then I kind of have to build it, right? And it's been a journey, and it's challenging. It's a nice challenge, a needed challenge.
So when going in building a recipe, right? Because I think it's awesome that they give you the freedom to present recipes and give input on recipes that they've come up with. Like, what all goes into building a recipe? You don't have to give us if you got like any secret formula y'all use, but just like you're looking at a beer, it's like, all right, how do I choose which hop versus the style versus the flavor? Like, where do all of those things collide?
I think, at least for me so far, so Mike and Donnie, a lot of the recipes that they have, I mean, they were home brewing together for like 10 or 15 years or something like that. So a lot of the recipes they already brought to the table. When I started kind of working on my own recipes, like when we did a cold brew maple stout, and that was my first one. That it was kind of my recipe that Donnie helped me with. My approach was literally, what do I like the most, right? And it's coffee and beer. Those 2 things. So it's like, all right, well, how do I get the most out of that? Those 2 flavors, and then we just started building the recipe from there. And you have to look at the style and kind of build to what that style is. But honestly, it was, what do I like the most, and kind of built the base from there.
So do you? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, so I mean, what was that? What was it like? Because you work with Choreo Chai on the label and whatnot. Like, how did that come about? Because the label was like kind of wild, yeah. No, it was. He kind of ran with the style. When we did Ice Cream Therapy, it was actually Mike and Donnie's idea to go with. I can't remember the guy's name, but he invented the ice cream scoop. So that's what the can was based off of, because he's black man from Pittsburgh. So that's why we went that route with the ice cream scoop, and it was a combination. Invented ice cream scoop. Every episode we learn how great Pittsburgh really is.
It's driving me crazy. I can't think of his name.
That's a very Pittsburgh invention, Mike.
It is a very
spoon
Pittsburgh
already
invention.
exists, but it was like a spoon that got messed up. It was like, wait a minute.
Like, I wonder how he did come up with it.
What's the name?
Alfred Crail.
Yeah,
Alfred
that's it.
Crail,
That's
yeah.
it. So it was a mix of
1879 or 1897.
1897.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a mix of-
Shout out to the Burgh, making life better for everybody.
I don't know, man. A
You know what I
handheld
mean?
shovel, like
No, man.
It's like,
Everybody done taking that spoon and it done did that bend.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Right.
a little.
And then you're pissed off because it's bent.
right?
well, one, you gotta have the sturdy spoon. Two, you gotta run the hot water over the spoon. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
There you go.
Look at that. That's not even what he had. That was a medical. That was
Looks like a cone.
That
It
looks,
does, yeah, it
that
does.
looked like the shit that they test your knee with to see your reflex.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if I'm using that on my screen, to be honest.
Oh, like a bike horn.
Yeah.
That's
But-
poverty. He was like, I gotta get this ice cream. I got all this shit. I'm throwing a party for my daughter. I got all this ice cream. He just picked the one.
I can't use a
circular-
normal spoon.
There you go. You
Yeah.
grab the one circular thing. He's like, you know what? We could produce these.
Right.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. But yeah, that's where it came from. And then, he ran with the design, and it came out awesome. Like, I love that design. Love that design. And I actually got to meet him. He came up to the booth when we were at Barrow and Flow, and I mean, it was crazy. And he doesn't drink. At least he does not.
Yeah, no.
He doesn't drink.
Just
Yeah.
had them on.
Because I was like, dude, you want some, you did this. Like,
Yeah,
this
you
is-
want some of the beer that
want
you-
some- He's like, oh, I don't drink. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the beauty of the brewing industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, it's an industry. I mean, it's not just like a product that you have to consume or whatever to
Right.
like find a revenue stream within it. I
Yeah.
mean, like, you could be a part of that ecosystem. I mean, in any capacity that you want.
Yeah.
Because we're not here trying to increase the amount of people that are drinking. We're just trying to increase the amount of revenue that comes back to our neighborhoods and
Right.
to the people as a
Right.
result of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, and that's a perfect example of that. I mean, like, he was just like, yo, I love the opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, my cans, my art is going to be in the hands of folks, all across or whatever.
Yep.
And I get to come by and see the fest and vibe out to the music, vibe out to the food, vibe out to the, small businesses or whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, and keep it going. So that's a dope thing, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
man,
two
it was
parties
awesome.
who probably wouldn't have met otherwise, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a connection. Now, you could tap into him for any future, whatever y'all might need. You've seen his work. He feels confident in your product that he ain't putting his work on no bullshit, and it works like
Right.
that. And y'all bigged up Pittsburgh somehow. So
Yeah. It's
yeah, just as an aside. Just as because Pittsburgh always try to throw
You got
you
to.
would think everything started here. Everything started here.
Everything, but every episode we find something that started.
The first brick. No, not the first brick made. The first brick to get thrown through a window.
No, I like when we were listening to the last episode, and I think you were talking about like Pittsburgh is known for like potatoes is the cuisine, and that is
Right.
the realest shit I've ever heard. Like, it really is.
But you know what's so crazy? It's so important to like potatoes are in most diets.
Yeah.
So it's like you're not really doing much without potatoes or chicken, but
Potatoes and chicken, man. Those are the two most heavily consumed items.
that's
like,
all you
know.
get when you sleep at a hotel or somebody throw a vid at a hotel. Potatoes
And chicken.
I had potatoes and chicken last night at this event. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That-
like, that's the safest.
It was stuffed. So yeah, I mean, they threw a little cheese and spinach, but it was still
think it's-
potatoes and chicken.
It's
all
the
fancy.
safest bet. Right. You gonna like one or the other.
Right. Right.
So prior to the brewing, I mean, were you in art? Were you cooking? Like, where do you get? Like, I drink, but I don't like. I drink cognac. I didn't want to make it.
Right.
So,
I think it'd be interesting though.
it would come out bad.
Like,
I think the margins are way slow on cognac. So, like, what is it in you that made you go, all right, I'm drinking this, I'm enjoying it. I should learn how to make this, or I can make a career out of making this.
yeah, I think I don't know. It's my day-to-day career is IT, right?
Okay.
So I think the challenge of IT and kind of figuring out the issues that we have, because I work for a company that we provide IT services to other companies. So like if you don't have IT services, you would contract us.
Right.
So I think what that kind of forces me to do is think a lot different. Because with the like engineering background, IT engineering background, it does force you to think different. And with me, like to getting to brewing, it was during COVID, and I needed to do something, right? Probably just like everybody else who was dealing with shit during COVID. I needed to find something else, and brewing kind of just fell into that field for me.
No, we was all drinking.
Yeah.
No, I was drinking, and then I was like going to get my car washed. Like I just would go and just like get it, and I would go through, and because they had the little lights and shit, so it's like a disco.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just something to get out of the house.
And it's weird because like
Bob Evans,
dude, and like I'm introvert, right?
Sausages,
right? So when you're
sausages in the car wash,
dude, during COVID, it's like when you go to a car wash, that is going out. That was going out.
Whack-ass day.
But that was going out.
That makes COVID sound so much worse.
Yeah, it was. But
there was nothing else.
But no, but what was dope was that like there was nobody on the roads.
No
My
one.
God, man, COVID roads. Again,
And the way
the
you
COVID
drive.
was a terrible thing that happened, and it sucks that we're still in this pandemic year 3 with the situation. But man, the traffic was amazing, and yeah, it was nice just because the cops didn't care either. They was just like, man, whatever.
They like, yo, I'm risking my life trying to give you this $70 ticket.
Right.
I imagine you fucking speed racer. The way you drive.
Yeah.
I know you loved the open roads.
Yeah, no, it was nice having those open roads for a little bit. I mean, and some sausages.
But yeah, I mean that's what it was. Just during COVID, I needed to find something else to do, and like I drank a lot of beer, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of just made sense to figure out how it was made. And
No, it seems like, but for you, it would seem like if you're in IT, your workload would have increased, it seems.
oh yeah, it's stupid.
So I just kind of want to point out that need for a release, right? So you're not less busy at work. Now you're working from home.
Yeah.
It's COVID. You're working hard, but it's like it's that human interaction. It's just that piece to be like, I need something for me. And I think a lot of times we get lost in working a lot and just working and providing. And it's like, yo, I don't even know what the fuck I like. Like even now, like doing comedy, doing the podcast, doing the show, like you do all this stuff and everybody's thinking like your life's so lit, but it's like, yo, I gotta make sure that I'm doing something for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool to find something that is in alignment with kind of what you do.
Yep.
Totally different from what you do, but just that it's still kind of picking on that same part of the brain, and then being like, you know what? After this, I can drink. Now I get discounts at Ulcer Genius.
Calm down.
You know what I mean? I'm discounted.
I mean, your name is kind of in the 3-day weekend.
Well, I was talking about you now. If you're throwing one my way, you know what I mean? I'm telling your story. But now if I'm walking down there and be like, yo, you look on that can.
Right.
Right above the Genius.
It's there. It's
Is
there.
Ed. Ed's in everything that happened already.
I'm here to collect royalties.
That's it. Is that
Can you start
not-
collecting? Can you?
Is that not what America is? Collecting royalties?
Yeah.
That's all America is try to get to a point where I did something and now, and therefore I am.
Yep.
So what's like as you're moving forward, or whatever? What are some of the I guess styles or techniques are you looking forward to kind of implementing in the future or whatever? I mean,
I think just learning more. So far what we did 2 stouts and the dark kolsch, and the dark kolsch was interesting, right? Because you don't see dark kolsches.
Nah, man. I
gotta
remember
get into that.
So you came he came to me and was like, yo, we got Daelyn. She works at
Thornhill.
Thornhill.
Yeah.
That's a tap house in Wexford.
And she wanted to get into the brewing scene, so she came down, and she's been brewing with us for a while now.
That's cool.
Yeah, I saw her. She was at the Pink Booth Brew.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah. That's a good beer. It's a
Yeah.
good beer. But she's learned a ton in the time that she's been down there with us. And one night we were just brewing, bullshitting, and she was like, "We should do a beer together." And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "We should combine our names." And I was like, "Well, we should get day too." And and somehow 3-day weekend came out of that. And
Because everyone enjoys a 3-day weekend.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And
It
I wanted
don't even
to
matter if you work.
You just know other people are more available.
right. Other people are off. Yeah. I think
People want to hang out on Sunday. You're
right.
like,
And it was your idea to do something dark.
Well,
and I was
you were like, yo, Daelyn, we're gonna call it 3-day weekend. I was like, motherfucker, it's sold, right? You know what I mean? It's like it's a kolsch, and I was like, well, can it be a dark kolsch?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm like, I'm just I like a roasty situation. You know what I mean? So and you was like, hell yeah. And it just made fucking sense. And it was dope to like brew that shit too.
It was fun, man. You know, and
by brew it, I mean like I just like stood around and drank and like watched them like
I think
You're a
create.
professional. Did you pour the hops in?
I did pour the hops.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's what we're good at. We got crazy wrists.
Right?
I think you connected a hose at one point. You connected a hose.
I did tighten the clamp, I believe.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I helped. You know,
There was some work there.
I kept the morale up.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
Your likeness is on the can. You're good.
I think that you had the playlist. I think.
Yeah, no, it was a
playlist.
dope like playlist and
Yeah.
whatnot. But like, yo, no, it was wild because like it was just us back there like vibing and whatnot. And I hadn't really been part of a brew day in a long time. Because like with the festival, there's a lot of brews that are like collabs and whatnot. But like they're everybody else's collab. So it was the first time. Like, you know, I felt like I had like an input in the recipe, you know what I mean, which made it like it felt, you know, special or whatever, you know what I mean? Like in that kind of like, you know, and it's wild, like, you know, because I forget sometimes like that sense of pride that like folks get being a part of a collaboration or whatever, but like I felt like a kid again and shit. I was like, oh shit, I get to like have an input on like the you know the outcome of this. Like this is wild as shit. Like you know what I mean?
But I mean the same goes when we're sitting there and people are drinking it and they're like, oh, you know, I really like this beer. Or even if they don't like it. I mean, that's fine too. You know, we want that feedback no matter what.
Yeah.
But it's always good, like, you know, when we did, you know, I think Ice Cream Therapy, out of the three that we did, I think Ice Cream Therapy was the more popular one just because, one, the label was amazing, right? And it was an ice cream golden stout. So it's like
it's hard to
a little wild. But
yeah, and I don't even really like golden stouts all like that. But that was well balanced. Like it was a nice, creamy. Like,
we put actual ice cream in it.
Yeah.
So, it was...
It was their ice cream?
No. But he came over and helped us with it. Because we had to... It was like, you know, the powder stuff that we had to... But he... You know, their business is the name of the beer, you know.
Right.
So and you know, he every time I walk over, he'll come over and he wants to do another one, you know. And we always talk about you know he has all these ideas for these different ice cream beers, and they're all amazing ideas.
Ice cream and beer typically they do go well. I mean, we all like the float game.
Right.
The floats are always good. Now, I do want to get into this dark kolsch because I do like kolsches, especially like when I'm trying to have a beer but not trying to get drunk at all.
Right.
Just kind of take. So when I think of a kolsch, I'm thinking light. I'm thinking, you know, crisp and whatnot. What differs in the dark kolsch like process?
Just a malt.
Just
so
a
we
malt.
use a darker malt in it, and it's I don't know. I think we kind of hit what we wanted, right? Because it's real light, real crisp. You know, I think when we're like 4.5%, so it's
drinkable.
It's
crushable.
easy. Yeah.
Man. It's crushable but dark. It gives you that, you know what I mean? Like that roastiness that you know what I mean? And I like that aspect because a lot of times, you know, stouts and other importers and whatnot tend to be a little heavier or whatever.
Right.
But this can be nice, like if you like roasty things, almost like you know what I mean, in the same sense of like a black IPA where it's like, you know, it's roasty, but it's not heavy.
And I think like I like beers that taste like beer. And this is a very beer tasting beer to me. And that's what I wanted, you know. And when you know, we have a lot of different beers at Altered. And I think some of the best ones we do are the beers that taste like beer. And you know, I was really happy with 3 Day, you know, just the whole experience, right? You know, from brewing with you and Daelyn, you know, it was a hell of a time. You know, we were back there just having, you know, it was just us, just back there brewing to, you know, seeing the final, you know, what the label was going to end up looking like, and then the final product. You know?
Yeah, no, it was wild because like, and then I came in and I sat down and I was drinking it or whatever, and then the woman came in and was like, she was like, "Oh yeah, you're here for the festival or whatever." There was like some Greek fest or something like that going on or whatever, and I was like, "Nah, I'm just chilling, like I'm just chilling." Or whatever. She's like, "Okay, cool." So, you know, like, I've been to all the places on Head and Day in the Burgh. You know what I mean? We checked them all off. And I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah. She's like, my kids listen to your podcast and they turned us on to your TV show.
Okay, now how old are our kids?
Well, so that's what I said. I was like, wait, how old are your kids?
Yeah,
She
I
said
know.
they were like in their 20s.
okay,
like,
that's
you know
cool,
what I
that's
mean?
cool.
Like early 30s, you know what I mean? Late 20s, early 30s. So they was, you know, but I mean, it's just wild, like how small of a community, you know what I mean, it is, but how like that all kind of like, you know, feeds in and whatnot. And I mean, like these, like you said, Ice Cream Therapy, now that they're turned on to it, are like, I have ideas.
Yeah.
This is how we can connect meaningfully with this brewing industry, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you were sitting there, you said, hey, like I'm, looking for an outlet, and then, you looked at that product and saw opportunity in that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Same thing, with us and that brewing scene or whatever, with drinking partners or whatever. So I mean, I love, that aspect of the scene.
Yeah, and I think it's different because with the IT background, that scene's a lot different. Because one, I'm not sitting at a table with people that look like me, so that's a different kind of a different aspect. And I think that field people aren't as welcoming. But the brew scene, I can't tell you. I mean, it's especially being new, into the brew scene. Everybody's so welcoming. Everybody is so, let me teach you this. Every brewer that I meet, or every brewery that we go to, and if I'm fortunate enough to talk to the brewer, it's never oh, you're a competing brewery. I'm not gonna tell you, right? It's, well, let me show you our style. Let me show you how we brew. And it's always like that coming into the field was weird to me. Because it's like, we're competition.
But what is competition in this industry? Because like we all say that, like it's like, oh, everyone's so welcoming, everyone, whatever. Although there are barriers and things like that, and there are some things that we need, obstacles or whatever, and we're working towards that, right? And there's been progress, but still, like it's crazy to see that folks are so welcoming and just, I don't want to say willing to give up the game, but like willing to say, hey, if I bring you into the fold, maybe this will expand everything that we do. Yeah. I don't know what competition actually looks like. Is it locking down your neighborhood? Is it locking down a certain style and becoming the go-to for that?
In beer, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's breweries out there that are like, we're not talking to these people down the block, right? Mm-hmm. But for us, in like at least the Pittsburgh brewery scene, I haven't seen that. There is no competition. Everybody wants just craft beer in Pittsburgh to do well, and it was such a weird thing. Right. And even with Barrel and Flow, I mean, that was the first time, that I've done anything like Barrel and Flow, because we couldn't go to the Fresh Fest when you guys were Fresh Fest. And it was eye opening. Right. Because I had no idea that there were so many black people that love beer like that you could throw the biggest, festival around. So it was, I mean, we made so many connections there. Everybody was awesome. I can't wait for the food this year.
Oh, man, the food's always.
Yeah, I can't wait for the food. And the beer.
Yeah,
and the beer.
The beer.
Yeah, the beer.
The beer there. The beer. I mean, it's dope because it's nice. It's like it's friendly competition, right?
Yeah.
It's that like everybody like brings their A game.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that's like I feel like it's become like the premier, like, I mean, everybody's showing it because nobody wants to call it in, and then because it's all going to be down at Mike's Beer Bar.
Yep.
So everybody's going to be on tap, and like everybody's, nobody wants to be the one that sent in the, bullshit hazy with no, you know what I mean? Like it's just like, nah.
Pour this out. We don't want it.
All still there.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you got to come get the rest of this. You don't want that call. Like,
Just
hey, come pick
aside.
this up.
I mean, and it does because a lot of these are typically, sometimes, I mean, or smaller batch or whatever. So it allows a little bit of creativity that's typically not there, especially because they are collabs. And that's what I love about the collaborative aspect of it is like for brewers, it's the same kind of like with us. We wanted that same, when you go to another brewery, you're trading. Yeah. Trade secrets, right? You know what I mean? Like, I went to a bunch of them, and folks were like talking about how to like keg more quickly and like how to save, water and how to like, this, that, and the other. Like, seeing that, it was like, okay, well, why don't we bring the public into that? Same thing like they did with us. Me and Ed would go in there. We did the full pint. Mm-hmm. That was like the first, commercial collab we did, the Hundo.
Just a long time ago.
I mean, the
shout
Hundo.
out to White Lightning.
Yeah, White Lightning. Yeah, I mean,
shout out to White Lightning.
And by seeing that process, we were like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like that's what y'all doing back here. You know what I mean? It's like the curtain got, you know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, cool.
Yeah.
Like,
and that was kind of like the same my first time, right? When Mike and Donnie kind of took the kid gloves off and just let me go, right? I still remember Mike was like, you're going to run the brew today. And I was like, oh shit.
He has somewhere to be.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
Presented as an opportunity. That is the largest aspect of leadership. Make them feel like you're doing them a favor.
Right. But no, it was good, man. It was it was like, oh, this is real. Like, this is what goes behind making a beer, from start to finish. And every day, every time we go to a different brewery and we do a collab with another brewery, right? It's always eye opening because it's all new to me every single time. And I hope that feeling doesn't go away.
So what's the brew that you got brewing right now that you're most excited about?
Oh, we have a New Zealand Pilsner. Yeah.
What's that about?
It's almost ready. It's almost ready. But we did New Zealand hops, and it's good. It's good.
New Zealand hops. Is that like Galaxy
Where's
and
New
shit
Zealand?
like that?
Yeah.
Where's New Zealand?
I feel like Australia.
I was gonna say it was
side of the
over at
world,
that.
right?
It was over there.
Yeah, but I mean, don't they get like the Galaxy and all that shit type shit like that? Or they get all the...
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the hop.
I know New Zealand was like running the world for a while.
gonna-
Everybody was like fiending.
I've been hearing New Zealand hops a lot.
Yeah, it's the first time that we used it, and I think this was a one of Mike's babies, and I mean it's pretty damn good.
Is that like an equator country where it's like
I don't know. We
I
didn't.
wonder what this. So why are their hops so sought after?
I don't know, they got
so
like
planes don't land there. That's why you
Isolated and under
Australia.
Australia.
Oh,
It's like
no.
it's like an island on the side somewhere, so it's just like
But
luscious.
it's not near the equator though.
No, it's further from the equator than Australia itself.
My high school geography teacher wasn't great, so
They also like are like real progressive over there when it comes to like policies and things of that nature, like the ecosystem or whatever. So I think like they might just have better soil and shit over there. Yeah,
I'm wondering
luscious
why their
like
hops is so sought after.
yeah, because they be taking care of these shit. Like, listen, man,
Spirit don't do
the beer is good.
flights.
They look, that entire country looks like, or continent looks like Lord of the Rings. That's where they recorded a lot of that, I think.
Yeah, you see, if you've never
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
Lord of the Rings, you
Yeah.
see it looks luscious as fuck out
Yeah,
there. I mean,
that's
you
true.
want some hops from them mountains.
because there's no pollution and
Yeah, right.
A lot of
I mean,
industry. Okay.
the shit that floats over Pittsburgh isn't floating over New Zealand.
So this you said it's New Zealand
Pilsner.
Pilsner. So this is because you made mention of beers that taste like beer, and so this would be
It's
a
a beer
beer that's
tasting
going to
beer.
taste like beer.
Yep.
Now, how difficult? Because one, let me give a shout out on this 3-day weekend. That
you.
dark kolsch. It's weird. It's too dark to be as refreshing as it is. It's got a
know.
very refreshing feel, but it just don't. It's like iced tea almost in the sense where you're looking at it like it's super dark, but then
Yeah.
it's real refreshing. So shout out to you on that.
Thank
Now,
you.
how difficult is it to stay in the pocket of making beers that taste like beer where the industry has got all these crazy ass flavors going? Or are you coming back to beers that taste like beer? So it's like, let's be ahead of that curve.
I think Altered we have a mix. Me personally, I don't really want to do crazy flavors and crazy additions because I like beers that taste like beer. But at the same time, I understand where the industry is going. With the different types of beers, and we have a lot of different fruited sours and fruited beers that we do at Altered that are very, very good. And I think my next one probably will be I want to try something fruited and kind of step out of my comfort zone of a traditional style.
Y'all got the what's that one with the IPA with it's like a juicy as shit. It's got the it's like this fruity, juicy
so
type
amazing
shit.
about doing this podcast with Day is how he will jump into a thought and not have it all the way, but it was there. He jump in, he had it. And
What's that one?
What he starts saying is like,
It's like a punch, like IPA that y'all got. It's like mad, hazy. What the fuck? Nah.
if you get it from the
It's like a fruit punch IPA or some shit like that, or like a what is this? Like a passion fruit? Or
Oh, the Mother of Dragons.
the mother of dragon.
Yeah, we actually did
the
that.
mother of dragon.
Dragons.
what is that?
Yins.
Yins. It's a passion fruit.
Passion fruit IPA.
We did it with Mike's Beer Bar. Actually, we did
Yeah?
a collab with
That
him.
was a collab with.
Yeah, it was a collab with him.
Word.
And
cyclical,
dude,
full circle.
that beer is crazy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's like mother of drag yins.
Drag Yins. Yeah.
And it's a fruity. It's a nice it's crushable too. Like
Yeah,
it's just
it's real easy to drink. The can art's really cool. Donnie did the can art, and it's a dragon sitting over the bridges. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, no, it's a good beer.
So what did y'all put into that?
A lot of passion fruit.
So what is the Pittsburgh passion fruit connection? Like, did y'all create passion fruit? Because I know y'all got the Pittsburgh passion. I know it's got because you drag yins. I know it's a story coming. It's a story coming.
No, I think the girls at Mike's named it because I think that's when the Game of Thrones spinoff was huge. I can't think of the damn name.
Ah, shit, House of Dragons.
Yeah, so that's where the name came from.
Yeah,
came from. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a good beer. It's a very good beer.
Well, from what I've had here, I believe it. I don't know what passion fruit tastes like, and that's where I'll get. So that's why I'm so impressed by when folks do go out of just the beer that tastes like beer and kind of go into things, not necessarily crazy, but just with shit that you don't taste every day. So like, how do I make this passion fruit work as a beer? You know what I mean? I don't eat passion fruit often. I don't know how to make a mango taste like a lager. Like, I don't know how, like I don't know what science goes into that, or like when he sends you this recipe, what it is you're looking for when you're looking at the hops. And again, you don't have to give up any secrets, but I'm just saying I'm very impressed with brewers and how they can do that. Now, I do understand folks like, I just want to have a beer. Yeah. And so I guess you would have to have a mixture on tap. But like, I do want to ask, so as a brewer, as a person who's into beer that tastes like beer, how do you, like, what do you think about folks who are coming in with that want these crazy, like, do you view them as beer enthusiasts? Like folks who just want to try all this crazy shit? Like, do y'all look at them like the others? No, like, they don't want no IPA. They want this crazy shit.
Well, the thing is, like those crazy beers, there's so much like work that goes into them. So I mean, those beers are harder to brew. In my eyes, they're harder to brew than brewing a dark kolsch or brewing a traditional style. So I mean, I have more respect for those guys. I think because I'm still learning the process. So I think it's for all that I think it's abjuration. They do all the crazy different fruited things, and for me, like it's still mind blowing that they can sit there and think, okay, I'm going to make this Oreo milkshake stout or whatever, and be able to kind of visualize what it's going to be, build that recipe, and it come out exactly like that.
Exactly what it says it is.
Yeah.
Like we had some like graham cracker ice, whatever. Like every word on it was in there. It was like,
and you can taste.
That was on the show.
Yeah, it was like toasted pineapple upside down cake or some shit like that.
And you can taste
every
single flavor. Yeah.
He was like, I was in the back just like toasting these motherfuckers. I was like, damn.
Yeah. And I mean that there's a lot more work that goes into that. So like I don't really view them any different. I kind of want to learn from that, right? Because it's unreal to me.
So I can understand the respect for the individual who can make that. But is there a part of you for the consumer who's constantly looking for that next, crazy whatever, where you want to pull them to the side and say, well, let me just show you what actual let me just put you on the actual beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because even for like the person who just has Budweiser and stuff, that they just have the large cooler at the cookout, like, do you feel, now that you're a brewer, do you feel compelled to even walk up to them and be like, look, this is I'm drinking in the grass?
I feel like I'm that friend. Like I'm that friend, because anytime like we do something, I'll bring beer, and it's typically it's altered beer, but I'll bring something else. And like if we're going somewhere and it is a Bud Light or a Budweiser, I'm not drinking it. And it's like, hey, try this. Try this.
Just stand by the cooler like, hey, fam.
you guys want something?
Set up a table.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, sometimes I do, but I do understand, people love that stuff. I mean, there are some times too, I'm like, oh, I really want like a fruited sour, and then I have it and the heartburn kills me. But, I think it's, that consumer, there is a place in the beer culture for that. But I think they hopefully have the respect for the traditional styles. And same way we have to respect the non-traditional crazy styles.
Non-traditional. That's a better way to.
Yeah.
That's a safe way to say it.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the proper way. Maybe.
I don't.
Maybe. But
I'm not. I'm coming in. All this craft shit is like. So I was the Corona guy, right? And drinking Corona was more economical than anything. It was, all right, my budget of drinks has been severely reduced, so I can stretch this $5 for a lot longer than a shot. You know what I mean? I could walk around. I can pull a good $9 to 14 songs off of Corona.
Yeah.
Like you can, especially if it's got the lime, the pour is gonna take, flip and let the lime go through. That's a song. And then figuring out my spot, that's a song. Then you really only drink the Corona when you don't have someone to dance with, so you gotta look like you're doing something. And then you just carrying the Corona for 6 of those songs, you just carrying the Corona. You ain't really drinking it. So, I everything with craft, I when we first started drinking it on the cast, again, it wasn't beer to me. But it tasted more like the shit that like would be traditional, the stuff that folks were drinking out of mugs when they were, you used to send the hands out to make the beer. Like it tasted more like that. So it tasted more, I guess, back to the tradition of sorts. And I think with you all making it, you got all these high tech breweries and all this equipment and shit now, but you still can make those styles. And it would be great to have folks have an appreciation for that, because to have that withstand the test of time and still be good is crazy.
Yeah, I think people who understand what goes into the beer, even if you're not really like, you, for example, you understand what goes into a beer, so you kind of have that respect for all different sides of things. Well, you understand it a little bit.
Yeah, I have
a little bit.
Enough to be on the can.
Enough to be on the can. You were there. You were there.
I mean, like there's water in this, right?
A little bit of water. But I think it does. I think it does help when people appreciate, what goes into a traditional style versus, something that has, a ton of different flavors into it. But I don't know. I mean, I think you go to, I think every brewery, at least in the Pittsburgh region, you have like half traditional and half non-traditional. They stick to like the IPAs, their lagers, their porters or stouts, and then they'll have a few, fruited sours or milkshakes or, just wild styles that you can't get anywhere else. And I think, I like that in breweries, because it does show, one, the brewery has range, but the brewery also respects what the consumer wants.
Right, diversity. I mean, I think diversity is going to help anything. Diversity in, the patronage, diversity in the offerings, diversity in ownership, all of that is going to help. It's going to help the product.
I agree.
I mean, so, you came in as an engineer or whatever. How has that like transferred over to, what you're doing now?
It helps me think different. Even when we're down at the brewery, if something happens, something goes wrong, like we have to figure that out. I can't, Google the solution. I can't call a Microsoft and, ask for another engineer to help me on the issue. You can't ask Siri. So it kind of forces you to figure it out and think outside the box. And I think my background helps me with that. And just the stress level helps with that.
Engineers are the most patient people I've ever seen. I used to go to Hillman Library, and you just look into the little rooms, and it's just a bunch of ones and twos on the whiteboard. I'm just like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Yeah. I think I've lost the patience that I've had. I've been doing it for over 10 years now, so that patience is gone. But brewing has kind of helped level set that, because I think I was just kind of getting tired of IT. And obviously I still, there is passion there. I mean, it pays my bills. It's my career. And it allows me to brew. But it definitely gives me a different way to, even building recipes, I think about them differently. And even from a kind of a business sense, I think about that differently when it comes to the beer and how to market that beer, or even from a label, right? The first beer we did was Notorious STOUT. And so that was easy. Ice Cream Therapy was easy. 3-day weekend, easy. We released it on a 3-day weekend, so it was perfect.
On brand.
Yeah, it was perfect. So, I think that's what it helps bring to the table, is that kind of outside mindset, and especially with Mike and Donnie being teachers. So we have completely different backgrounds when it comes to the beers that we're brewing.
So what does a crisis look like? I mean, in a brewery. What does?
It can be
brewing, is something like blowing up or some shit.
It can be boilovers. I mean, luckily, I think we haven't had anything crazy happen at the brewery outside of a boil over or something like that. But I mean, I think you can see some of the things of just the boil overs from a fermenter, or you lose an entire beer, or a pump isn't working. We got to figure that out. It's like, we're not going to call anybody. When we got our canning line, and they came down and trained us on it for a week, and then they left. So after that, it was like, we have to figure that out. And Mike runs the canning line. He has it figured out. But it's like any problem we had, like we sat there for I think 2 hours one night on our first solo can run, and we had to figure it out. All the measurements with the cans, the filling. I mean, we had to figure all of that out. Can't call for help.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's crazy that you asked that day, because now I guess you wouldn't really know until if it's not just an equipment issue. You don't really know until you taste the beer. Like, okay, some shit went wrong in one of these tanks. Tanks, the levels is off.
Yeah, and you have to figure that out. Damn. You have to figure that out. So I think that's the IT background kind of helps. Because we do, IT, you have to think about issues differently. And Mike and Donnie being teachers, that also helps. So, and they've been doing this for a long time.
So for yourself, where do you see yourself in the industry? I mean, so for folks, because there are folks who are working, they have careers, but they're interested in involving themselves on the production side. Like, what would you think is a good trajectory, or how do you step? Because you jump right in. And I don't know that everybody else is going to be able to dive right in.
Yeah.
But like, where do you see yourself, and then what would you advise an individual who wants to hold down, that career, to keep paying the bills until they can get to a point where they are, head brewer or.
And that's the goal, right? To me, the goal is, kind of step out of the IT scene, and brewing be the career, and be a head brewer, whether that's at Altered, which that's kind of the path, right? Or, eventually, owning something of my own. But that's the goal. Because I don't want to do IT the rest of my life. I'm tired. I'm tired of IT. And brewing is something that, 10 years ago, I would have never thought that I would actually love doing it, because we all love drinking,
I enjoy it.
But, for me, brewing is, I don't know, it's like it's my place, to kind of get away from my real career, and all the craziness going on. I can go down, it's hands-on. I can shut my mind off, focus on, what we're brewing that night. And, for me, it was huge.
And so when you speak to Mike and Donnie, does he like Donnie or Don?
Donnie.
Okay, Donnie. So when you go from this being kind of your getaway from IT to this being your job, does it now take on, have you spoken to them about kind of how they balance that in their lives? Because you don't want to lose the love for brewing because it's kind of, your life depends on it now.
Yeah, I think they're still trying to figure it out too, because they're still full-time teachers. So I think we're all kind of balancing two lives at the brewery, and I know the end goal for them is, once they retire from teacher, the brewery is it. And we've definitely kind of talked about it, and they do help with some of the balance, but some of it's on me too, because I work a lot, but
don't answer this question.
What is your favorite form of potato?
Favorite form of potato.
Yeah.
I knew that was like he was setting it. He was like waiting.
I guess mashed. Is mashed a form?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is
mashed.
Yeah,
with a lot of butter.
Lots of butter.
Yes,
lots of butter.
Salt.
Have we gotten mashed before?
We've gotten mashed. Yeah, we've gotten mashed before.
We got to start recording this.
And
go to the tater chart. Right. Go to the tater chart and then see where you fit.
I mean, what is your favorite?
Tots.
Yeah,
man, like chili cheese tots.
Ooh. Chili cheese tots.
But they have to be real crispy though.
Yeah, crispy.
Like they can't be from like Sonic.
No, it's like some real crispy tots. You throw the chili cheese on top or whatever, and it's a very nice. So tots in any form, but the ultimate form is chili cheese.
Now, who should do tots is the Hot Dog Shoppe. With like chili and cheese.
So you and I differ on this, and so because you're from that area, so it's a different outside of Beaver County, nobody
that's true
thinks the Hot Dog Shoppe is anything you should.
That hurts my heart.
Speak to.
That was my first job.
Man, people were hyping this place up like you got to go down to the Hot Dog Shoppe. They got the best shit. They gave me this boiled hot dog with this other
it was on a grill.
It was. It could have been grilled more.
Yeah.
It was a little bit more. It was, man, but it's like one of those. It's like Turner's Tea, right? You know what I mean? Like, if you're not from Pittsburgh, listen. I understand. Like, I love Turner's Tea, but I also know that if you're coming in from out of town, like for me, it's the best thing. But I understand you might not enjoy that acidic.
Let's just be honest. I mean, the hot dogs. Like, what was your expectation going into a spot?
Hot dogs. No, I'm like a grilled beef frank. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, it is a big deal.
It's a grilled beef frank, and it was a limp. It was a limp pork.
It was a hot dog.
So a limp.
It was a hot dog.
Lightly grilled.
No one was dipping chicken.
It's not the
into
Frank
the hot
stand.
dog.
It's the hot dog shop.
Yeah.
They ain't selling Franks. They're selling hot dogs.
But I mean, everybody has, they're saying, But yeah, mashed potatoes is dope.
I didn't even know you put chili cheese on top. I've never had tots with a topping.
Yeah.
I feel like they have to have something because like plain tots are just.
I will eat seasoned tots. I'll eat seasoned tots.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's just they're poppable. But dipping is cool. You can dip it in anything. But again, if you want to throw a little bit of chili cheese on top of that, go ahead, throw a little fork on that.
I don't like chili and cheese.
Well,
Interesting.
Yeah.
You like beer that tastes like beer.
I do
You
like
chili that tastes like chili. I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't put cheese in your chili?
I mean, on top.
but you don't want them. You don't want them on potatoes.
No.
Yeah, I feel
No.
you mashed potato. You're a buttery guy.
Yeah.
I get
Just
you.
butter, chives, salt.
You don't want your potato to have any form.
No form on this
He
potato.
likes his potato squishy.
I don't want chunky. It needs properly whipped.
All right. Risk game. Risk game. All right, so let the people know where they can find you.
Down at Alter Genius, we're down in Ambridge. Right off of 65. We have a nice little spot with a patio, full kitchen. So
Big deal.
come check us out. We have 12 taps.
Yo, them hot dogs, man.
We were just talking about
y'all hot dogs. You see what I'm saying?
It's-
Now, how do you serve a hot dog like y'all do in that
Serving
establishment
Franks.
and still big up the hot dog shop?
Well, you know what's funny is-
you know what greatness is.
I know. Well,
You already know what greatness is.
the Altered is actually in the old hot dog shop.
Really?
Yeah.
So they stepped their game up.
The Ambridge Hot Dog Shop is now, where we actually have like the sign still because we found it down in the basement. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, no, I guess I didn't think about that.
Yeah, right. You see what I'm saying? Y'all
you're right.
they got a
You're
bacon
right.
wrapped hot dog over there,
And it's fire.
with some some cheese on that or whatever. Like it's
Ton of cheese.
Yeah, like a little sweet.
We have an
Tijuana dog.
Oktoberfest hot dog. Oh,
Right.
My God. Yeah.
And you want big up hot dog shop? You should know better, man. Come
Bacon
on,
wrapped hot dog.
man. Yeah, man. You see what I'm saying?
Meat on meat.
I'm gonna pause that.
Right.
Respectfully.
Listen, wrap it up, B. Wrap it
Wrap
up.
it up, B.
wrap
Bacon
it-
wrapped hot dog.
Wrap it up.
Right.
All right, Dan, let the people know where they can find us.
If you're looking for us, you can find us down here at Emerald City on 213 Smithfield.
Yep.
Smithfield, you know what I mean? You can also find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play.
We Googleable.
And Spotify under Drinking Partners. And you can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. And August 12th, you can find us down there at the Strip District, barrelandflow.com. And for the next 8 weeks, I don't know when this is coming out, but around the next 8 weeks or so, very local, Ed and Dan the Burgh. Season 2.
Season 2. They brought us back. And, that's in perpetuity. You can go in there now and look at season 1. I don't know what date this episode's coming out. There'll be
doesn't
some
matter, yeah.
season 2 will be out. Season 1's already there. If you haven't watched it, look it up. We want to thank our guest, DaShawn Not So Boring, for coming in. Not that boring. You know what I mean? He does like traditional styles, but he's not that boring. Get out to Alter Genius out in Ambridge. It's the only reason you got to go out that way. Go get some good beer. Get a bacon-wrapped hot dog.
Yeah.
Dip it in a dark kolsch. Swirl it. If you pairing it,
if you're into it.
look,
guess.
if I'm a wash it down, I might as well dip it. That's not how y'all think about making y'all drink.
No.
That's
Something about like just soggy bread doesn't.
He's a terrorist.
Do you dip
That's
it
not
without the bread? Like,
FBI is listening to this.
I don't dip hot
Full-
dogs. I also don't wrap them in bacon. So there's just a whole bunch of shit that you don't know it till you try. it.
Beer battered, a nice little beer battered dog though. That might be a thing. Might have to. I'm gonna have to come sit down with y'all.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
Gracie's beer battered. Big boy
the beard batter beefs.
Beer batter
The beer
beefs.
batter beef brats.
beer battered
Brazy's
big
beer
boy
batter beef
bratwurst.
brats. Oh
Yeah,
my
there we
God.
go. All right, there you go. Write it
Next
down.
menu item.
bridge.
Next menu item.
Write it down. Take it before we trademark it.
Right. Right.
All right, but this has been Drinking Parties. As always, Drinking Parties is the crew. Epicast is the family. We out.